Barcelona 2, Manchester United 2. Paulo, you spoke on efficiency on the ball today.
Yeah.
The team today, in a spells, not really efficient on the ball. But overall, an aspect of the game, what do you think about the match?
I think efficiency is a big word, Marcel. I think in this game, in the first half, we were talking about something was missing. I think that at times we were not so efficient on the ball. I think at times Bruno is taking a bit too long, as per usual. We'll see a lot of Bruno Fernandes. And look, I think I thought we played well in this game. I think at times we were missing that final ball. I thought Rashford was way too eager. At times he was way too eager, and then he would lose control of the ball, and then he would kind of miss a chance. Weghorst gets a big chance in the first half. In terms of efficiency, I think it's one word that I would not describe Man United last season. But this season, I've seen an increase in efficiency and protection of the ball. And I think in this game, we've done that somewhat well. But in the second half, we kind of struggled.
Wan-Bissaka was the player that you was watching today.
Yeah.
Thoughts on his performance?
Wan-Bissaka, look, I've been a big critic of Wan-Bissaka because I did think he wouldn't come back and put these performances in. I thought today at times he was troubled a bit. Haley talked about the lack of, not even the lack of, the amount of space he was giving the opposition. And look, when Bruno's not really offering that defensive support, Wan-Bissaka will be caught. I think at times Bruno needed to support him, which we didn't see in the first half. But then as the game went on, I think a lot of those issues that we were addressing, I think Ten Hag definitely mentioned to Bruno. He was saying, get back, make sure you support Wan-Bissaka because he's getting exploited. Sometimes his awareness can definitely be lacked during a game, and I do think at times it's positionally as well. Sometimes you want to stay compact, and I think at times he was too close to our centre back, and it just left a lot of space there. But I think overall he had a good game. As the game went on, he started getting more confident. I just think that going forward as an attacking fullback, he's not a long term in my opinion. But overall, had a good game.
Speaking on the defensive line, Varane, Malacia, Shaw, how do you think they played?
I thought Luke Shaw and Varane were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I thought one of them two man of the match. Luke Shaw at centre back again. Control. Shaw, if he's not a left back, he's a centre back. And if he's not, the thing is, he's a very versatile player. He can play midfield. He's a great passer of the ball. Got great cross on him. And this is the thing about Malacia and Luke Shaw. It's going to be an interesting thing long term because Luke Shaw for me offers a much better cross. He's a lot better at controlling the ball and keeping possession of the ball. I think he shields the ball a lot better than Malacia, but Malacia more aggression. And I think that Luke Shaw, Varane, vital blocks, vital interceptions. I thought one of them were man of the match. For me, right now, I'll just say it straight away, I'm going to give it to Luke Shaw.
I'm going to add David De Gea into that defensive line conversation. Some very, very good saves today. I think sometimes maybe possession-wise, in terms of distribution, a little bit poor. But what do you think on his performance?
Well, I know you're not the biggest fan of De Gea, but I would just say that at times distribution, it's not even at times, it's almost every game we say, at least once or twice per game we say, should have been better from De Gea. But I think, look, he came off his line a lot of the time, claiming crosses, and it's a part of his game we haven't seen in recent years. And I think that now we're starting to see that a bit more in his game. You've got to applaud him when he's doing things well. And in today's game, he was coming out for crosses, and he was getting himself about vital shot stopping in the second half. I mean, Barcelona had a few chances in the game where you think, if that's another keeper, maybe they don't make those saves. So I thought De Gea overall distribution was a bit iffy, but overall a good game as well.
Barcelona had a lot of chances, but Manchester United had a lot of chances. Rashford today scores again, had another chance as well at moments to score again, as to make two, sorry. What do you think about his performance?
The thing is about Marcus, I know he's on a great run of goals and even assists, but I think that Rashford in the last couple of games, his performances have been a bit questionable, but that doesn't stop him from scoring, which I think is brilliant. Last season, his performances were questioned and he wasn't scoring. This season, even if his performances are being questioned, he's still scoring. So I think that, today sometimes a bit too eager, like I mentioned earlier on, and lack of control on the ball sometimes, and sometimes his shots were off. We saw that one shot in the second half, it was nowhere, and he should have been on target at least. I think Rashford, naturally in that number 9 position, which he did play a lot of the time today, he's less involved because, naturally Weghorst was getting into midfield, linking up the play, building everything up. But I thought overall, look, he's on a crazy form. He's in crazy form. I think I saw a stat yesterday that right now he's in better form than he was under that season under Ollie, which is crazy. Yeah. So I think Rashford, again, I think in recent games he's been a bit questionable sometimes his performances, but it's not stopping him from scoring.
Sancho, just building himself back into the side. 80-minute performance today.
Yeah.
How do you think he can, develop and become a better player? I think today, was an interesting cameo from him.
Yeah, interesting cameo. I think it's a big game for him to come back into because he's only played a couple games since he's come back from that situation. And I thought defensively he was active. I thought going forward, I would have liked to have seen him a bit more on the right. Bruno was heavily on the right with Weghorst in midfield. And I think that Sancho offers a lot more from the right. I think the crossing ability from him, it can't be questioned. I think in midfield, he links up to play phenomenally. So we've seen it this season. He's played in that cam position. We've seen it a few times on the right. I don't think we've seen enough from him on the right, which is weird to say because we bought him as a right-sided player. But on the left, for me, it's Rashford all day long. If we're talking about who should play in that position, it's him. I don't think Sancho has that pace or that taking on ability that Rashford has to be a left winger in our team. I think on the right he's better, or even in midfield. But I thought Sancho, defensively aware today. He has to do a lot of running, and people say that's what you should do every time. But I think that when you're a player like Sancho, who at Dortmund, we can't forget. I mean, they were bossing the league, and they were doing madness, and him and Haaland, that link up. But in the Premier League, it's different levels. And I think that has kind of shocked him how much he's had to do. And that's why he's had this time off. Because Ten Hag, I said, look, you need to work on your nutrition, your conditioning. And I think we're going to start to see him get slowly back into the game. Scored a goal. I forgot what game it was, but he scored a goal recently. And I think Leeds, yeah. So I think he had a decent game. And that's it, yeah.
Big game Miro. We saw the moment where he stared down Gavi, let him know, and that was a very good moment. But we haven't seen him for a couple of weeks now, suspension. But seeing him back in the side now, how important do you think he is to this team?
He's very important, but he needs to be careful. Casemiro needs to be careful because he cost us the second goal, wasn't it? The second goal. Casemiro, we've been saying it. He loses the ball, he wins it back. He's one of those players who, if he makes a mistake, you're not really worried because he's going to get the ball back. He's going to get back possession of the ball. And he's going to create, or he's going to defend phenomenally like he does. Look, he's not just a defensive midfielder. I've been saying it for a long time. He can create for us. He's a solid defensive midfielder, creative player, physical, aggressive. But at times, that little bit there where, he loses the ball, it's not always going to happen where he's going to win it back. At times, he's going to get caught, and it happened today. Poor pass, which left us exposed, and that's it. We concede. So I think at times he needs to be careful.
And lastly, man of the match?
It would have to be Luke Shaw for me.
Why Luke Shaw?
I thought him and Varane were phenomenal defensively. I thought at times, if it wasn't for them and their recovery pace, I mean, Luke Shaw, the control and composure he has as a centre-back is almost unbelievable, to be honest. So I thought Luke Shaw for man of the match.